Brandon.
Hello,
I've been
Bloodworth.
spending the weekend with Ooblets.
Literally, like with lots of. How many ooblets you got? Let's start with just give me numbers. Give me just raw.
I want to say
ooblet. What's the
9.
count?
We'll get to
okay.
that. There's like a little soft cap there.
Now, I have to jump in because I'm so curious about this game because obviously this game is really charming, but like it's disarming in a way that like I don't really know the mechanics. I think I've played Ooblets before. I think I played it for like a half an hour or something, like a very early
Yeah, it's
version
been in
of
a
it.
lot of E3s.
And I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I'm kind of already like bought in. But it's weird. It's weird not to know
Right.
a lot about the mechanics of this game, but still be like something's going right because this game is just completely adorable and fun and unique. And I remember there being like a lot more talking than I thought there was going to be. I thought there was going to be a lot more cultivating ooblets, and it is its own weird thing. So this format that we have, this after weekend impression format, is built for a game like Ooblets.
And for a bit, I wasn't sure that like a weekend was going to be enough time, or I really only started on Sunday anyways, because there was a few hours in. I'm still like, I still don't know what's going on.
Sure. That just means newer things are happening. You know, you just lots of surprises. Yeah.
But Brandon, let me give you the intro to this. Tell me if you've heard this before. A young person takes a boat to land of ooblets, coming from a land where there was no such thing.
Okay. Okay.
But in this land, everybody uses ooblets and sees ooblets in their daily life, and they can't even fathom what it's like to live without ooblets.
I mean, you know, obviously my heart goes to Pokemon, but it's very Box Peak. That's
It's a very Box Peak. It's exactly Box Peak.
which a little more curiously Box Peak, actually. You know, it's like there's some Ooblets connection. Bossman's like, I gotta make it before, you know, Ooblets comes out or it'll be revealed.
Yeah, it's funny though because it's like this mare like that you meet is like this girl in like pigtails and a rainbow hat, and like she can't fathom at all. Like I think you should like even mention multiple times that like there's no ooblets where I come from, and she's like, what 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 do you mean? What you can't, that can't be what you really mean, right? But kind of leading to that is part of your disorientation is just to play with the language on everything, so that almost sort of like you feel like you're in a foreign place in a way. So like instead of yes or no on like dialogue choices, it's yeah or nah.
Uh-huh.
And then like confirmation, it just says gimme when you get new items
I love that stuff.
instead of okay. But some other words, a watering can is called a dribbly can. There's a reconstitutor, which basically grinds up materials and turns it into bait. Fishing is called sea dangling. Coffee is bean juice.
As somebody who corrects our language here at Easy Allies, is this cute for you, or does this grate a little bit? Is this nails on a chalkboard just a little bit to you?
It's not nails on a chalkboard at all, but sometimes you're just like, what, you know?
Yeah.
And then like you have the wishy well, the printy press, the crunchster.
Do you know how you come up with names like this? You have a 1-year-old son. That's what,
Yeah.
and then you just, this is my language for 3-4 hours of the day. Is, you know, wibbly cannon.
Yeah, very much feels that way. Like it's like everything is little kids and just like words they just didn't hear quite right, and that's just the name of it now.
That's perfect.
So you come in, you're given like a task to like talk to 8 townspeople or whatever, and then one of the first things that you do is you choose your Ooblet club. So it's this very like kind of Harry Potter-ish like find your allegiance, you know. So like there's 4 different choices. One of them is about being cute, another one's about outdoors, another one's antisocial, and another one like is like frame themselves as being leaders. So I went with the outdoorsy one.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is called moss sprouts.
Nice. The leaders one is tempting though, but
Yeah.
I'll probably go.
Yeah, I mean like different ones of them spoke to me in different ways for sure. I don't know. I'm guessing that you probably get different starter ooblet depending on which one you pick. Probably in the footage that I forgot about. But I got Shrumbo to start, and it's just like a tall little toadstool, red cap mushroom guy. And then it goes into the tutorial on Ooblet's version of fighting, which is dance battles. So you don't actually attack the other Ooblets. You
shame them.
You shame them by dancing better.
Nice.
And then, like, in
There's
some ways,
plenty of shaming in Pokemon. Like, there's plenty, like the Pokemon do the fighting, but you were really shaming trainers, right and left. You're making that world feel bad about itself. It's basically the mission in any Pokemon game.
So yeah, so any time that you're in like an Ooblet dance battle, like there's this whole like ring of other Ooblets and onlookers watching. I will say, like, in some ways, again, I should frame that this is early access, so there's still a lot to come. In some ways, I feel like the like actual dance moves, dance moments, like they don't necessarily always like animate in a cool, amazing way or anything. It's not like you're actually watching like a break dance battle or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
At the moment, I think that stuff may improve, and you may see more of that stuff. But just so you get an idea, it's you start off, because you only have one Ooblet, start off with a 1 versus 1. But later, as you get more Ooblets, like that can just keep cranking up. So you just get whole lines of Ooblets. Like I had like 6 or 7 in a line at one point. But they always have to match. So if they have 6 Ooblets, then you have 6 Ooblets.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it ends up working. So the battles are turn-based.
Is that a little time consuming when you're like picking them before a fight? If you go in and it's like they have 5 and you're like, oh, okay, then do you have to pick your 5, or is it easy to just be like,
it's pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah. I usually like click down the line and like, okay, I've hit the max. Let me unclick one of the higher level ones and click one of the lower level ones, so I level them up a bit.
Cool, yeah.
And it's also card based, which is interesting because you don't really manage a deck in any way that I can tell. Your Ooblets just have like decks that are associated with them, and as they level up, they get new cards for like showcase moves and stuff.
Whoa. It's like you either get a card-based model or a Pokemon-based model, but a card-based within a Pokemon-based it's pretty meta. That's deep.
Oh, we get more dimensions than that. We're just starting off right now.
Just layer 2? Nice.
So basically, the way that your turns work is each side has a specific number of beats, is what they're called. They're essentially like just like consumable points in a way. That you can spend on your cards, and each card has like a price, right? So if you have 3 beats and you have, say 3 cards that need 1 beat to spend, and then a card that needs 2 beats and a card that needs 3 beats, then like that's where your choices come out. It's like, how much am I going to spend? Am I going to spread it out against multiple moves, or am I going to pick the one big card and use that? And then what your goal is there's like a meter on each side of the screen, and you're trying to get a certain number of points. So it could be 20 points or 35 points. It varies battle to battle. And so you want to get to that score before your opponent gets to that score. And then the cards very much work like a board game. Like there's all kinds of different effects and things that you can get off of cards. Some of them will just be about raising points. Some of them will steal points from your opponent. Some of them will stun an Ooblet on the other team for so many turns. Some will give you extra beats so that you have more resources to work with. There's just all kinds of different things. One of the things that took me the longest time to figure out is there are some that either give you hype or cause fluster on your opponent, and some of the more complicated cards, I think you might like trade off causing fluster to yourself
for something,
for
sure.
a benefit, yeah. But basically, it took me forever to figure this out. But what I think it is based on how much hype or fluster is next to your meter. It looks like either like a flame or like a green arrow that's pointed down. That affects the value of your moves. So like if you're going to add 4 points to your score on a certain card, but you've been flustered, now you only add 3 points with that card.
Okay.
And then I had some of the later battles to where like they had flustered me so much that like cards would do 0 points.
Does that stack was my follow up? Yeah.
Yeah, they stack, and I don't even actually know how to remove, like how to clear that status. It didn't seem to go away with time. I just had to like hype myself up to counteract the fluster that I had.
Cool.
And then the only other thing that like at this point so far, it doesn't feel like there's been a lot of challenge to that system or a lot of strategy to really play into it. I've just really like steamrolled most of the battles until like the last couple ones that I did, where like I had one trainer battle that was a little tough. and then I opened up the dance barn where you can do like these tournaments that have like special rules, like the one that I did, like everything. I don't think there were any points for playing cards, so you could play whatever cards you wanted. And my opponent just they finally beat me on that one. But anyway, so that's how the dance battles work. There's also the mayor gives you a farmhouse. So on top of all this, you're also playing a farming game.
Oh, like, totally. No, of course.
Like,
yeah. That's
like Harvest Moon.
Yeah. I'd say that's about half of the footage that I've seen, too, in every trailer.
Yeah, so you till the land, you break rocks, you break branches, and you get resources out of those, too, that you can spend on different things. And plant seeds and water them and tend to them for however many days that seed takes to plant. And then you also get fertilizer and stuff to spread on it. I've seen basically like what I'd say like 2 different types of seeds so far. There's like actual crops like carrots and I think they say muzz instead of maize, basically corn, sweetie beaties and all this kind of things. So that stuff you can harvest.
I just want you to read them all. I literally want you to go down the entire list and just read them all. Snuzzy Buzzies and Wiggy Wums.
So you can harvest and you know you need certain resources for different things, for different quests and things like that. But then you can also cook with the raw ingredients, and then you can also get like a crunchster, which is like you basically grind up ingredients into flour, and then you use that for different recipes and such. One of the other things that's interesting about it is with a lot of these resources that you pick up, and like some of these things that you plant, other things like the wood, you just have to find branches and snap them and get wood that way. And there's also like these mysterious cans that keep showing up in piles around town, and nobody knows where they're coming from. And you can grab those as well.
Mysterious to you, or like it comes up in the story that people?
They're literally called mystery cans.
Never mind.
But with those resources, if you want to challenge wild ooblets that aren't associated with any trainer, then you need a certain amount of resources. So you need like 4 wood, or you need like 3 berries, or whatever to be able to initiate. It's like a price to get into the dance battle with them. So each one has a different thing that they like, and so you have to kind of like, you know, you walk over and you can pet them, and then you can also like, all right, I want to challenge you. And it's like, well, you need 3 of these to challenge them. And so that's how you start a dance battle. And then once you win one, the way that you get an ooblet is you don't capture that ooblet. It actually like poops out a little seed. And then you can take that seed and you plant it in your farm.
Got it.
And then once it grows, you harvest it, and then you have your ooblet.
That's kind of hype, you know, and like knowing you got it, but you got to wait just a little bit longer, and you can see it, you know, because like, again, with all of the Mon games, it's just fun to watch these things grow. So now you get to watch them grow before you can even use them.
But this is sort of where I've been running into like a bit of a wall, as I've mentioned. So I didn't realize at first that there were going to be limits, and so like there were a couple of ooblets that I got some multiples of. Like I planted, like the 3rd seed I planted got me like a special variant, sort of like similar to a shiny.
Yeah, this is just classic early access. This seems like the stuff that they're like, we don't know. We've been playing with this format for so long that like we wouldn't be surprised if we brought in the masses and they were like, this system doesn't work. You need more. You need to push it in either direction, and they can tweak that stuff.
But yeah, so basically I filled up on my party, and then I'm like, okay, well now what do I do? Because I've got these new seeds, and I want to get new ooblets and try them out and all this stuff. And like, okay, well I can send them home, but sending them home, like they do little things around your yard and stuff, but they still count towards your maximum. It doesn't clear up your maximum.
Oh, okay.
And so then I'm like, okay, well I can build an oob coop. So like I figured out how to get the resources and craft the oob coop, and like, okay, cool, now I can like stash ooblets in the oob coop, and it only houses 1, and I'm like,
all right,
oh, okay, so I can get 1 more ooblet.
But is that, can you see that on your property? Is that like their little house that like,
yeah,
only
so they actually
will be in? That's kind of cute.
It's like they actually tend a part of the garden, like pick weeds and like, you know, deal with the branches and rocks and stuff that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, this is the kind of game where it's like, I imagine there are some people. I'm interested. Like this does appeal to me, but I bet there's some people who are like, this is my reason for living. Like literally, like I don't know what it is about this game, but it just like this is, you know, maybe not necessarily everything I always wanted Pokemon to do or another franchise, but like it seems like the people behind this game are just, they love it so much.
Yeah.
Because it is so cozy and its systems do make so much sense. Its blending of genres is like, yeah, this seems like the same type of crowds.
Yeah.
You know, that
Well,
really enjoy
another
these
thing,
types of experiences.
another thing that you actually have to worry about too is your energy level. So you have like a meter that like drains whenever you like till the ground or pick a fruit or whatever you do eat. Like it works down over time. So like you have to either go to bed at night. There's a day-night cycle, or you need to eat. You know, craft food and eat or buy food.
Is there a character creator, or are you one specific?
There's a character creator. It's,
okay.
It's pretty simple, but it's there for sure.
Do you have? Are you anybody? Or are you just some random? You know, does anything come out about you, like your history or your?
Just the fact that you came from a place that doesn't
it's like
have
Animal Crossing.
much,
just like meh.
Your character does have lines of dialogue. They do react. So you're not a total blank slate. You're not a total silent protagonist.
Sure.
But, and that's actually another big part of it is that exploring the town and like walking through houses and like picking through everybody's drawers and stuff, but also just getting to know them. And so as you talk to characters more and do quests for them, and then there's actually a quest where I think it's called a hanker bot. So it like tells you what people are hankering for, right? So they'll send you a note in the mail every morning and tell you like what one person, like what they're hankering for the day. And so you go over there and you give them that as a gift, and then that puts their friendship meter up a little bit.
How long's
more.
like a day typically? Does it fluctuate because you're just doing different stuff?
I don't think it fluctuates too much, but maybe there's things that pause it, like dance battles and stuff. I would put a guess around like 20 or 30 minutes, something like that.
But it's otherwise real time. Like you can actually see like sunset and stuff, and like do you?
I mean, it passes
manually.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it real time just because I'm
it.
used to Animal Crossing, where it's like the actual time of the day.
Right.
But yeah, there's definitely like a sunset and the lights turn on after dark, and then they give you a little warning. It's like, hey, if you don't go to sleep, you're gonna be drowsy the next day.
Yeah. Can you just see the flow of time? You know.
Yeah.
GTA style. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, for sure. And then you get little stickers and stuff, and
stickers.
yeah, you get friendship stickers, and you also get badges for completing like if you do so many dance battles or whatever. And what's really funny is the way that they do it is that the mayor has like this fish assistant. So they're like, oh, you earned a badge, hold on just a second, and you can keep walking around and stuff, but then eventually the fish is going to catch up to you and like, here it is, here's your badge and here's a letter. And then it runs off. And then you also, so there's like all kinds of different currency and stuff that goes along with that. Most of the shops, there's like a furniture shop and a clothing shop and a cafe and stuff. You use gummies as your main currency. But then from doing like a lot of these tasks and quests and things, you also get wishes.
Got it.
That you spend at the wishing well. And the wishing well has like the stuff that you want. Like you can spend like 50 wishes for like 100 gummies. So that way you can get resources and stuff, but you can also like get some resources directly from the wishing well. You can get new blueprints for like sprinklers and stuff for your garden. You can expand shops. You can do all this stuff if you have enough wishes from.
I'm a sucker for resource conversion. Playing the mobile games that I do, I love that stuff because it's just fun to have options. I imagine Animal Crossing will probably add that stuff later this year, where like they'll just have a player base. It's like, dude, I just have thousands of these things. What do I do? I don't have any use for them. It's like, okay, well now you can trade them in, get some other thing.
Another thing with the friendship, some people like when you get stickers from them, you also get like little gifts. So I got I don't even know if I might not have recorded this one, but I got what they call an annoyance drum. It's just like a little drummer boy drum. You're just drumming the whole time that you walk around.
Nice.
But you also get like little bow ties and umbrellas and stuff that you can put on your ooblets to.
How much can an ooblet wear? How does it? Is it just like one little article, or like can you?
It looks like they have 4 slots
at once? Wow.
Yeah.
And how many what's the max that you can just have like around you? Because they just follow you around town when you're doing
I've had
right?
like 6 or 7 following me around town.
Okay.
yeah, and then like I said, there's a lot of different places around town. Like you can go fishing at the pier. And,
Fishing? What's that? Fishing? That's not...
Sea dangling.
There
sorry.
we go. Okay, sorry.
With the quest, like a lot of the quests are like repairing facilities and stuff. So like the clubhouses and such are kind of locked off to me right now. But I just did a quest to get one of it reopened.
That would be I don't want to rush the conversation, but that's like my next question is like, what's next? You know, like what are you looking forward to doing? Sounds like you're pretty into this. You know, like what's your next mission in this world?
Yeah, and there's what's called the Learnery,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically like a research lab.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you get a new ooblet, you can go there and scan it in, and you'll get 50 gummies from the scientist for scanning it in. And yeah, there's just like a lot of quirky people around town.
And that's interesting. It doesn't automatically happen, that you have to manually like do that. You know, it definitely adds like a sense of place and purpose to some things.
And then one of the more substantial quests that I've done recently is, so you're trying to reconnect the OobNet, which is, you know, the internet basically. And so they have like this radio tower, and you fix that, and okay, we still don't have network access. And so then you talk to this person that has a broken hot air balloon, and you fix the hot air balloon, and then they take you over to an entirely different location, which is like this forest. And it very much reminds me of like one of the routes in Pokemon. You're locked out of the second OobNet tower because the trainers in the area have stolen the keys off of the keypad, and they're using them as hats for their ooblets.
Okay.
And so you have to challenge these trainers and get them to give up their hats.
Okay.
So you can get in. But that was the first place that I actually did trainer battles. Up to that point, everything else was like with ooblets. There's wild ooblets. But what was interesting was that route was very much a self-contained. Like once I did the loop, and like that seems like that's it. I don't really. It's not like another town that I need to go back to or anything. And now there's a third location that I've unlocked to open up another tower. And I saw it. You know, it looks like there's probably a fourth as well. But beyond that, I don't know how much there is to see in the world.
Fast travel, because even if this world turns out to be really big when it comes out of early access, you still got to get back to your. I'm assuming you're going back to your farm all the time, right? Like even if you're
but it's just a hot air balloon. It's not really. It's just around the corner. You know, it's like going to your shop in Animal Crossing. It's just it's nothing in terms of distance.
Well, it depends on where you put your shop in Animal Crossing. You know, there's lots of variables there.
And like I said, that forest area that I went to was literally a loop. So once you did everything, like you were back at the beginning.
The early access period I have not played in a long time, but the initial early access playable portion of Temtem had a very abrupt ending. Do you think this sounds like you have got more to do, but do you think this suddenly there's just like a wall where they're like, and that's where we stopped developing. Thanks for your support. We'll, release the full game later.
I'm not sure. I'm curious, how the tasks will work out. It seems like they're locked by, like there's like a level for your character as well as the level for each ooblet. And so once you get to a certain point, you unlock more tasks and more things in the Wishy Well and stuff. So I don't know whether it will come to a decisive close or if you can just keep doing stuff in the town and just keep doing that like little daily gameplay loop there. I will say some things that I noticed with early access that were kind of funny is one of the instruments I got was called a toot horn. And as soon as I tooted it like broke the game. The toot sound just started reverberating like endlessly, and I couldn't stop it, and I couldn't like get my character to do anything else. I had to quit out to the main menu.
Whoa.
And then I tried it again. I tried tooting it again. It's the same thing. So it's just like the toot horn is just broken. Or at least some combination of my game and the horn. And then
imagine some forum thread called Toot Horn, and just all these people complaining.
One of the descriptions on like a packet of seeds was like write something in this space or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
And there's like a character
here.
It was like there's a character too that like kind of jokingly said, or like Rebecca hasn't given me any more dialogue or something along those lines. But yeah, it's an interesting, cute game. It's it's kind of lovably dorky. And
like on all fronts, like you can't escape it, like you really got to know if you don't like the mood in this game, get out, because it's just going to be more of that. I guess the only concern would be, because it sounds pretty jolly and pretty what everybody like kind of, you get what you pay for, like in terms of it advertising itself as what it is, and that definitely sounds like what it is. But if I'm really, really interested in it, would there be any reason I should wait? Because it's like, no, get the full experience. Like, it's good. We all have checked it out. People ahead of you, if you haven't checked it out but you're interested, or is it just like, no, jump in here because it's a blast and you'll play the rest of it later?
It's hard to say, and like I feel almost like you have to like, what is the final game like? I haven't really jumped into that many early access games that much. I definitely, like I said, I feel like there's some elements of just the polish and strategy and things like that. Like, it does feel like it hasn't been balanced in any kind of super meaningful way. It's just really about like getting in there and messing with these systems and getting into that loop and upgrading your farm and that kind of hook more than the actual dance battles themselves. And like I said, I still don't know like what I can do to get new ooblets, because I can't dismiss them. I can't release them into the wild. I'm just kind of sort of stuck with the party I have now, and maybe there's something I'm missing that somebody could tell me. But yeah, and like I said, I haven't finished. I don't know if there is a finish to what they have right now, or if they're still working on later events. There could be a whole, like we could just be seeing like chapter 1 of what this game actually is. So hard to say in that end. I will say that sort of like Animal Crossing, it is a game that you start feeding into in a way that you just like, what? How? 30 minutes have gone by, and like, what happened? What did I do with that 30 minutes? Because you're just trying to get whatever cloth or whatever that
Right.
you're trying to build a certain thing.
That's why people on this island can't believe other people that haven't heard of ooblets, because it's completely consuming them. It's a part of every moment of their lives. And soon it will be yours if you want to get it for early access.
So yeah, if you like Pokemon-ish games, maybe. But I think particularly if you like those kind of life sim farming style games, like a Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon, this is probably more up your alley than anything.
Oh God! What I know? I am. Oh God!